Following program is sponsored by PokerStars.net. Previously on the big game, high-stakes cash game regular Bob Voulgaris ran a big bluff against World Series of Poker main event champion Jonathan Duhamel.
I had it big time. Beats ace high, right?
Yeah, beats ace high.
I had the bluff once.
And Duhamel sent poker pro Jason Mercier into the tank to contemplate a $26,000 hero call with just ace high.
Oh my God.
Wow. You're the best.
And amateur loose cannon Carrie Burchell kept making all the right moves against billionaire Guy Laliberte.
Guess you have a bigger pair than mine.
Yep, she sure does. They're a bigger pair of balls.
I create a monster.
With just one night left to go, can the loose cannon keep it up against this table? One thing's for sure, we'll have action.
And that's why they call it the big game.
This is the PokerStars.net Big Game.
Welcome to the big game from Las Vegas, Nevada. Alongside Joe Stapleton, I'm Scott Huff, and tonight there's over $1.1 million in cash on the table as some of the toughest players in the world have come to battle here in our state-of-the-art poker room.
This man has replaced the Expos as the pride of Montreal 2010 main event champion, Jonathan Duhamel. He stuck $33K.
In between shows, Jason Mercier got nicknamed Nut Nothing for repeatedly calling with the worst hand. He stuck $53K.
Guy Laliberte is the creator of Cirque du Soleil, so that $18K he stuck won't keep him from being on the cover of Forbes magazine with Oprah and the Queen.
Bob Voulgaris is a high-stakes cash game player, and he's played snug, but it's worked out for him. He's up $138 grand.
As a child, Eugene Kachalov escaped communism. In communism, cards fooled you, taking a bath and stuck almost 90.
Our loose cannon is Carrie Burchell, a college admissions officer. She started last night with 10 grand in profit, but now she's up over 55 grand, and she's standing by with Amanda.
Carrie, it looks like you have a nice chunk of change in front of you right now.
I'm not really sure. All I really know is that I have a profit.
That's it. You don't want to know.
I don't want to know.
Why?
Well, because if I know how much I'm up, it kind of makes it more real and I feel kind of accountable for when I'm up. I'd rather just be able to play my game and focus on playing.
I like that. With one night to go, are you ready to gamble it up?
Well, I've been playing my game all week and I plan to keep playing it until the end.
All right, I'm rooting for you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Here's another look at the loose cannon rules. Each cannon is staked $100,000 to play. They keep all winnings above the initial $100,000, and the loose cannon, who's won the most money at season's end, earns a North American Poker Tour passport worth $50,000.
And right now, Carrie is one double up away from taking the lead away from Massimiliano Martinez. Amanda said she's rooting for Carrie. That's a bad sign. Amanda's a black cat. She's so unlucky mirrors try not to break her.
The action will start here on Jonathan Duhamel.
Carrie's actually just two double ups away from being able to get me out of credit card debt.
Duhamel folds.
Carrie, remember what we talked about? Call me.
Mercier out, Laliberte out. Bob, ace-7 of clubs.
Suited ace on the button. I know it's early in the broadcast for abbreviations, but that raise seemed fairly obv.
Up to 1,600, folds around to the cannon, pocket queens.
Tread lightly, Carrie. Just because there's three ladies at the table doesn't mean you can all go to the bathroom together. But seriously, she should raise.
There it is, to 4,400. Back on Bob.
Carrie plays every hand like she's a baller. I don't even know if the table can handle her right now.
And Bob will make the call.
Scott, all this week, Carrie's been the 3 C's.
Cool, calm, and collected.
Actually, it's cool, calm, and baller. That's how baller she is.
8-8 king on the flop.
Carrie can't love seeing that king, but she really hasn't backed down at all this week. I can't remember the last time she didn't c-bet.
And these are our only two profitable players for the week going at it.
You got bluffed too. It's so gross. I can feel it.
Well, I can think of one way to test your theory.
Rochelle bets 12,200.
What would Nut Nothing do right here?
Jason got the name Nut Nothing between shows due to his propensity to hero call with the Nut Nothing.
Carrie, what would Nut Nothing do right here, you think? You know?
It would take him about 15 minutes to figure
Right.
it out, though.
Burn.
And then what would he do? let's fast forward to at the end of the 50 minutes. What do you think he would do?
Jason loves the attention.
Nothing will call.
It's probably the dumb thing to do. Like, Probably not the winning. It's probably the winning play. That's why he wins all the money at the tournament. Chaser. All right, you bluffed me. Go ahead, take it.
Bob folds.
Nothing would have won.
Bob's really smart. Say one thing, do another, cover all your bases. What struck me the most this week about Carrie is that she doesn't flinch. She has no fear. I think she might be a machine.
Take another one down. The table's getting schooled by her, by the way. Everybody's getting like this. I mean, I don't expect much out of nothing, but I mean, this guy won a world championship. Do something, Jonathan. What are you doing?
Trying to, man.
He's been taking on the chin from Carrie the worst.
So while Carrie takes in the poker kudos, let's go over the rules of the big game. Each table lasts exactly 150 hands. The action pre-flop is pot limit and becomes no limit after the flop. Blinds are 2 and 4 with a $100 ante, all of which is paid by the player on the button. And every player begins with at least $100,000 but can rebuy for up to $500K.
The big rule change this season is that our loose cannon cannot come back after they've played the week's 150 hands. So maybe Carrie's twin sister Mary could play?
You really want her to come back. Cards are in the air and action is going to start on Duhamel. Folds. WWNND. What would nothing do with the 9 tray of diamonds? He'd raise to 1200.
Jason getting a little out of line already.
Guy makes the call with King 10. Action on NBA bettor Bob Vulgaris, ace deuce. And he has the button. Folds. Pass the rock, Bob. Catchaloff folds. Ace king for Carrie.
Carrie with by far the best of it. Carrie could just call out of the big blind if she really respects Jason's under-the-gun raise, but then again, it is an under-the-gun raise from Jason.
This pot. 56.
I hurt her.
Usually what's pot gets followed by a pot-sized bet. And there it is to 5,600.
Later. Guy is dominated, but he doesn't like to fold, and I can think of a couple billion reasons why.
56.
And Guy makes the call with King 10. So we'll go heads up to the flop.
Carrie the 3-1 favorite.
5-7 queen rainbow. Big whiff for Guy and Carrie.
Carrie's once again in a spot where she can probably win it as long as she keeps the pressure on, and she's rarely not followed through.
And there's your follow through. An almost pot-sized bet to 12,700 and Guy folds.
No Dutch.
No Dutching. No Dutching. Carrie is the queen of the 3-bet, C-bet combo. Not only is she second in profit, she also ranks second in the following categories. 3-betting highlights her pre-flop aggression. Calling pre-flop shows us that she's hard to push off a hand, and her C-betting percent is just high enough to make old Pappy Greenstein proud.
And the other players at the table certainly noticing how great she's been playing.
Yep, it's a one-girl wrecking crew out here.
Take it easy on us.
I didn't do anything.
Eugene stuck 93, Duhamel stuck 13, Mercier stuck 61, Guy stuck 26, and you expect us to believe you didn't do anything, Carrie?
And she stole Joe's heart. Mercier raising to 1,200.
12.
Laliberte calls. Bob with 9 king.
I like lots of like garbage hands.
You're also nittier than a pair of mittens.
Action folds around to Burchell with ace 7.
Out of position.
She'll make the call. Pocket jacks for the champ.
He'll want to thin the field.
It's a pot.
Duhamel raises the pot. Jason folds.
Attaboy, Jason. Way to go, buddy. Good job, buddy. Way not to disappoint.
Action on Guy.
You might want to tighten up your opening range, I think, because you're not getting much respect at this table.
Burn.
66, right?
Guy makes the call. Burchell's out.
He loves setting money on fire. Money and rings for people to jump through.
Toi puis moi.
Parlez en anglais.
Whoever wins this one, we're singing "Oh Canada" at the end. 9-10-9 on the flop.
He flops a gut shot draw. Jonathan's holding half his outs, which technically aren't even outs since hitting one would make Jonathan a full house.
Duhamel bets 10,400.
He has no idea how thin he's drawing right now. No diamond on the flop, so not even a backdoor flush draw. Since the jack's no good, he's got one backdoor straight draw. At the moment, only his queen is live. Of course, he doesn't know most of this, and he's got a bottomless bankroll.
And he makes the call.
Practically a gift.
Turn card. Ace of spades.
Duhamel has to absolutely hate that card. If I were Jonathan, I'd be reciting every French expletive I can conjure up in my head. It's a bad spot to be in because if you check, you kind of give up on the hand.
Oh, this guy's a world champion.
I ain't afraid of no ace.
Like Jonathan still wants to be a Guy buster. That's 17,600.
On the flop, Jonathan's praying for Guy to call with ace high. When the ace hits, he's praying it with queen jack.
Guy folds.
Nice turn card.
Wasn't a good card for anybody, buddy.
And Duhamel wins a pot worth 54,600.
King 9.
So things didn't work out for Guy that time, but all eyes are on our loose cannon as her chase for the passport inches closer to its end. Find out what happens right after this. Welcome back to the big game where this week's loose cannon, Carrie Burchell, is having a good session so far. If you've been watching, you know she overcame a congenital heart condition as a child. She's also overcome a skeptical father in order to be here.
My dad is anti-poker, one, because he doesn't understand it, and two, because he's a pastor. Growing up in our house, cards were considered to be the devil's game, no matter what kind of cards they were, except for like Old Maid. So it's never been anything that he actually took the time to understand, and he just sees it as gambling. If I do win, I would absolutely give money back to my dad's church. Even though my dad may not like the fact that I won the money on a poker show, I still think it would do a great deal to actually help his ministry. I definitely feel like I could reach or even exceed $150,000. There's nothing that's impossible, and all it takes is a double up in the right spot. It's just the right timing and the right play. There's a lot that I would do with $150,000. You know, after I take out the money that I would give to my family and, of course, to my dad's church, the next step would be to buy a car. Because right now I drive a taxi, and that's a pretty sad sight in itself. I purchased a car that used to be a taxi. So if you get in my car, in the back window, there are actually fare signs in the back, and there's a little faded taxi sign on the back. And no, there's no radio, because that's where the meter used to be. My friends, even my dad gives me a hard time. I actually picked him up in my car, and he asked me if he needed to pay his fare when he got out. So everyone gives me a little bit of a hard time about driving a taxi. I absolutely have to do well at the big game because I have to upgrade my car situation.
And that's a shot of Carrie's mom watching all the action from the green room. I spoke with her on a break, and she couldn't be more supportive of her daughter playing here tonight, especially since she forgot to bring cab fare. Look, I did it. I went there. Right now, she's getting closer to that lead for the NAPT passport. That's her profit, folks. She's still got another 100K in her stack, so she's just one double up away.
I've always wanted to do this.
What? Can you straddle on the button?
You can do any straddle, they said.
Why wouldn't we straddle on 800 on the button every time? That's like a good play.
Carrie attempting a Mississippi straddle. It's the first time someone's ever tried this on the big game.
Because she's a baller.
If the players allow it, the small blind will be first to act.
No, starts on the small blind.
Looks like they will allow it. Action on Duhamel with 6 tray.
It's me.
And he folds. Mercier out.
So, could I raise now?
Yeah, you can make it whatever.
No, you have to fold. 800. Everyone has to fold but the button. It's a real good angle. You can't lose.
Okay, so
You can make it 36.
So I could make it 36 because this calculate, right?
Yeah, that's a blind.
Okay, make it 35.
Guy raises to 3,500. Bob.
Guy, this Guy, 35. Look at this Guy over here.
Vulgaris folds. Kachalov, ace jack.
Man, Eugene looks like he's been put through the ringer this week. He's just like over it.
Makes the call. Over to Carrie. 9-5 of clubs.
You can do anything, remember? You can straddle from way in the middle of the table if you like.
At least someone paid attention in the pre-show meeting.
Carrie makes the call.
Now, this might look like a loose call, and it is, but you kind of have to defend your straddle here mathematically. Carrie's getting better than 3-1, and she's in position.
Flop 8-9 deuce, 2 diamonds. Top pair for the cannon. Middle pair for Guy.
Pretty sad when the girl who plays 1-2 no limits got more gamble than me. It's embarrassing in some ways.
Way more.
Way more gamble than me. Not even close. And more than you too, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of us.
To be fair, Carrie's the only one playing with someone else's money.
Guy fires 10,700. Kachalov out, and it's back on Carrie.
This is a pretty big, almost pot-sized bet. I'd say Carrie is fairly likely to know she has the best hand here, so I'm going to go ahead and say folding's probably not an option.
Well, she's got the gray chips. The 5K chips. And she makes it 30,600 to go.
What on earth is going on here?
Even though this is a baller raise, it really doesn't make a lot of sense.
So it's how much more? Basically 20,000, 19,900, right?
You're kind of not supposed to raise just because you think you have the best hand. I could totally see Guy just shipping on her right here. He did it to her earlier in the week. Guy looks like he just might not be a believer.
Just calls.
Right?
I'm not sure if Carrie wanted a call or not. My guess is probably not. This pot has gotten very big very fast.
Turn 6 of clubs.
Check.
He checks.
This is a stellar card for Carrie. She picks up a draw to both a gut shot straight and a flush, and one card makes her a straight flush. Now, she really should bet this only if she's willing to call a raise all in, and should be considered a semi-bluff, not a value bet. As long as she doesn't lose her nerve, this is likely to be the single biggest bullet we've seen Carrie fire.
Stacks a lot of chips and fires. 53,800 is the bet.
This pot is likely to be 100 times bigger than the biggest pot she's ever played before in her life.
How much left you have roughly?
Ah, she's so cool.
Come get it.
About to 80.
Does Guy really think she would bet this kind of money on a hand worse than 2-8s, or does he just not care and want to gamble like a billionaire sicko?
I think I'll make a nothing reflection.
You gotta ask her what nothing would do.
Nothing would still be in the tank from another hand. And this is not the demeanor of a woman who just bet her entire year's salary. She genuinely looks just as comfortable as any pro I've ever seen.
He folds.
You can tell he created Cirque du Soleil because 90% of that whole thing was just theatrics.
53-8. Man, you could have opened this game right up, Guy.
Burchell takes down a pot worth 126,700, and with that pot, Carrie Burchell is now up over 100 grand and less than $63,000 away from taking the lead in the race for the NAPT passport.
I think everybody was hoping that you would call and win so that I would be down and have to gamble some more.
No. I knew without showing the bluff, right? That late in the week.
There's no bluffing in poker.
This is the only thing you didn't do, show a bluff the entire week.
Imagine we just watch it on TV. She's bluffed like every hand. Like every hand. Like every big hand. It's just a bluff. I'm like, what?
Not too far from the truth.
And Carrie Burchell is on a heater. The fare to ride in Carrie's taxi is your whole stack. Can anything slow her down? Find out when the big game continues. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the big game where our loose cannon is getting closer to taking the lead for the passport.
So you can win like another 60,000, you'll be in contention.
$62,000 to be exact, but please make it 62,001 because I have no idea what to do if you tie.
There's no lockdown.
No lockdown in this. No lockdown.
Pretty amazing. There
It
is
is
no
really
lockdown,
amazing.
yeah.
None. I'm impressed. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm impressed too.
I think we all are.
Joe's got Carrie's picture in his locker. 8-5 for Bob, folds. Kachalov out, Burchell, 7 tray, she'll let it go. Duhamel makes a raise to 1,200 on the button. Ace-4 for Mercier. Out. On Guy. With pocket kings.
The button raise almost worked, Johnny. We're likely to see a 3-bet, but Guy could just call if he wanted to be deceptive and balance his range.
3 bets to 4,200. And Duhamel quickly calls with the Jack-5 of hearts.
Quick call in position. Duhamel speaks Guy's language, literally. They're both French-Canadian.
Ace, Jack, 6 on the flop, couple of spades, middle pair for Duhamel.
An ace also hits, which may kill some of the action.
Nope. Guy bets 7,200.
And typically, once these guys flop something, they don't fold for 1 bet in a 3-bet pot.
Duhamel does call.
Duhamel can also hit backdoor hearts.
Turn. Ace of clubs puts a couple aces out there.
That second ace hitting makes it less likely that either player is holding one.
Guy checks. Then Jonathan checks. River, 9 of clubs.
He's about to board the last train to Value Town.
18,000.
Guy fires 18K.
All aboard. If Jonathan can't put Guy on an ace, he'd be right, and he'll likely make this call, which would be wrong. Spades missed, and so did all Broadway draws. not doing Jonathan any favors.
Oh, gee, boy.
Jonathan calls, and Guy wins.
2 kings?
Wow, you value bet. KYC.
I had an ace, that's why I was wondering what the hell was going on.
Population 1.
And Guy takes down a pot worth almost 60K.
Had a bury, huh?
Oh, yeah, we thought you had queen high.
Oh.
No, yeah, nothing.
So the billionaire Guy takes that one down, and if it seems like he's played about half the hands this week, it's because he's played about half the hands this week. He's got the table's highest VPIP, he's the leader when it comes to c-betting, and he's won the most overall pots. La Liberte is down about 30 grand, but that's not slowing him down because he also ranks #1 in another category, overall personal wealth. We keep making a big deal about how rich Guy is, but he's also quite charitable as well. He founded the One Drop Foundation, a charity dedicated to providing clean water sources around the world. Guy's a good Guy.
And he's got ace-king.
Suited.
Raises to 1400. Bob with 7 tray, out. Kachalov with the 8-4, lets it go. Action on our loose cannon. Ace-10 offsuit.
We know Carrie's dominated, but this is an auto call on the button.
Unless she re-raises. Nope, just a call. Duhamel out. 5 tray of hearts for Jason Mercier, and he'll call out of the big blind.
A little loose, but Jason wants to get involved with the 2 amateurs.
3-way action to the flop. Ace 10-4 rainbow, top pair for Guy, top 2 for Burchell.
Carrie flops huge, goodbye kicker problems. Hello, Guy's money.
Mercier checks his gut shot.
Guy could really get himself into trouble.
C-bets 4,800.
This would be a good spot for a raise. It's kind of a dry board, but you can certainly get action from most aces. Calling's okay if you think your opponents are super wide and you won't get any action. Sometimes that would be the case, but we know Guy is very likely to call a raise.
If things break right for Carrie here, she could be our new loose cannon leader. Carrie opts to just call.
I'm sure part of Carrie's plan in just calling was to try to get Jason along for the ride. Jason's not even getting 3-1, so this would be pretty loose. Pretty loose.
There it is, though. He makes the loose call.
Guy and Jason are drawing pretty thin. They're each only going to win this pot about 1 out of every 5 times. Carrie will win it more than half the time. Pretty good 3 ways.
King of diamonds, and Guy hits a bigger 2 pair.
Oh, puke.
Mercier checks.
Guy Willikers, this could get ugly. Guy was the last aggressor, so typically he's supposed to bet again. I say there's no shot Carrie gets away from this. No way, no how. It's just a question of how bad it's going to be.
And Guy is loading up. The bet is 20,400.
Carrie didn't put in a raise on the flop, and I'm afraid she's going to do it now when she's so much more likely to be behind.
Why couldn't you put a creamsicle chip out there? I would have called so that I could get a creamsicle chip.
Those chips are worth 25K each.
Now you're getting taunted, Guy. How does it feel?
Carrie's confidence is genuine, but it is an error.
She makes the call.
Carrie doesn't raise, but this is still awful for her. What a gross turn of events. You can't blame her for calling.
Mercier's out.
Guy's got Carrie in terrible shape. She's been coolered, and with Duhamel folding a 10, she's only got 1 out.
6 of clubs, that's not it.
Time for Guy to calculate the bill and tell her what the total damage is going to be.
He bets 50,000.
There's those creamsicle chips she was after, but unless there's a 6 card to be dealt that I don't know about, she won't be getting her hands on them.
Ace-king. Do you have ace-king? No? Maybe.
She's asking the right questions. Maybe there's a chance she can actually get away from this.
Be a bad call. Is that right? I call.
And she calls.
Ace king.
Nice hand.
So gross, and she shows the cooler.
And Guy's going to win a pot worth over $160,000.
Can't fold that. We can't fold that.
Carrie hasn't shown much emotion all week, but I'm guessing she's gutted right now. I know I am.
Now you're peacocking. He's like, I win a pot finally.
No, actually, she might not save money because if she re-raised, I probably call. And then I might put up there.
Yeah. Now you turn top two. Yeah.
Probably if I would have raised on the flop, you don't get away from it either, so.
No, I call then with the turn. Then we're.
I saved money. It's just like an $80,000 hand.
Smiling again somehow already. Still baller. Oh no, not the sad music. I hate the sad music.
Can Carrie make a comeback? Find out when we return. Welcome back to the big game alongside Joe Stapleton. I'm Scott Huff, and there's just been a major movement in stack sizes. Checking the leaderboard, we see that Bob is now up 141 grand, and Guy Laliberte has jumped up to 54K at the expense of the loose cannon, who's dropped to 23K in profit.
Duhamel is down 49, Mercier stuck 67, and Kachelov getting crushed for over $101,000. But the big story right now is that even if Carrie doubles up, she'll still be behind Massimiliano Martinez in the race for the passport. Just 15 hands left to play. I don't know about you, but I just had to go puke after watching Carrie take that cooler. Does anyone have a toothbrush?
Action on Kachelov, 8-5, folds. Carrie, 8-6 of diamonds.
Looks like she's not slowing down one bit.
In it to win it now, raises to 1,500. Duhamel out, and King-Jack for Mercier.
Jason knows Carrie might be a little more susceptible after that big loss. Looks like he might want to play a bigger pot with her.
The Sharks are starting to circle. He raises to 4,200. Guy quickly out, and it's on Bob.
Bob typically stays away from the weak aces, especially out of position.
Does again this time, folds.
Looks like Carrie's going to gamble even more now, maybe try to win some of that back before time runs out.
Makes the call.
Jason's eyeballing Carrie's stack. Try to be a little less obvious.
10-5-7 rainbow. Carries up and down. Mercier still with just king high.
Even though Jason was the last aggressor and she should check to him, I say dunk it now. Get that pot up there.
But Burchell checks.
Probably the right play.
And Mercier checks behind. Turn. Jack of clubs. Mercier hits a pair of jacks.
Carrie's missed on the straight draw. With check on the flop, the betting lead is up for grabs.
And she takes it, bet 7,000.
And it looks like Carrie hasn't changed her game at all. If Jason hadn't improved on the turn, I think this bet could have worked. As it stands, there's no way he's folding.
Mercier makes the call. So Carrie's going to need some help as we head to the river. Queen of diamonds, big brick.
Carrie hits another banana, but the board did get a little scarier for a pair of jacks. Her inability to play passively has helped her this whole week, but it might hurt her now.
She fires out 9,200. And Jason calls.
Call I missed.
He's like, yeah, I know.
Probably the quickest decision we've seen Jason make all week long.
And with these two big losses, the pros might start to see it as open season on the loose cannon.
Mercier taking down a pot worth 42,000.
Carrie just dropped another 20 grand on that hand, and what a roller coaster of a week it's been for her here on the big game. She came out of the gate strong, was briefly down less than 6 grand, but then never looked back. She's been playing with profit ever since. Carrie took some huge swings of up to 50 grand, but nothing like the nearly 100K drop she suffered over the past few hands. She's currently up just 3K, and her time is running out. I'm pretty sure Carrie's still got some baller left in her, though.
Looks like Duhamel does. He's straddled for 800, so the action will start on Jason Mercier with 9-5 of clubs.
This would be looser than his sweatshirt.
Raises to 2,300. Guy with 9-8 of diamonds. Calls. 9-7 of hearts for Bob.
How many nines are in this deck?
None.
Bob calls on the button.
Time's running out for all these guys to get their last licks in.
Kachelov out over to the cannon with ace-jack of diamonds in the big blind.
Oh boy, let's see if she can still summon her inner baller. This is a scary raise to make, however, because for the first time since early in the week, Carrie would dip back below the 100 grand she was staked.
She's not scared, raises to 10,900, and the action folds back to Guy.
Okay, I'll play with you.
Knowing the hands, Carrie should love it, but I'm sure she would have much rather collected a bunch of dead money.
He makes the call. Back on Bob.
I don't even have the heart to play if I call. That's a sad thing.
Bob's the anti-baller. Must come from watching too many NBA games.
10-9? Probably don't even.
And Bob folds.
With 2 nines folded and nut diamonds, Carrie's a huge favorite.
We'll go heads up to the flop. Jack, King 10 rainbow. Burchell with middle pair. Guy is up and down.
Carrie's got the best hand. There's an argument for check calling on a scary board like this, but we know that Carrie's just got too much baller in her to do that. He's a billionaire, everyone.
Burchell stacking chips. Fires 24-3.
This is almost a full pot-sized bet. Carrie means business here on the home stretch. Guy, of course, is open-ended. However, he might think his queen outs to be dirty, which they are, since those would make Broadway for any ace. Still, it seems pretty uncharacteristic of Guy to fold in this spot. He is a bit of a chaser.
Tries to show Bob his cards.
I didn't see your hand. So.
He did. Anyway, I don't want to be. If I go, I have to go all the way. It's a crack.
And he folds.
Carrie was the odds-on favorite if they did get it in, but with the way Guy runs against her, probably better this way.
And with that pot, Carrie is back up to nearly $20,000 in profit and still showing a lot of heart. Can she mount a comeback this late in the week? Find out when we return on The Big Game. Welcome back to The Big Game, where right now loose cannon Carrie Burchell is hoping to score big as her week here winds down.
Carrie was on track for a huge week until she got coolered a few hands ago. Since then, she's been clawing her way back up from a meager profit to a less meager profit.
The straddle is on in action. We'll start on Eugene. 4 deuce. Out.
I figured out that Carrie actually hasn't had her foot on the gas pedal the entire time. She's had a brick tied to it.
Queen 9 of diamonds for Burchell.
I don't think she could slow down if she wanted to. It's the only explanation for her fearlessness.
Raises to 3,600. Duhamel with 5 tray of diamonds on the button.
This would be a fairly standard call in position against an amateur.
And call he does. Mercier out. La Liberte in the big blind. Lets it go. Bob folds.
Oh, we haven't danced in a while.
Yeah, well. Need to give you some more, I guess.
Danced in a few days.
I heard the prom's theme this year is going to be flappers and gangsters.
You're just jealous. 2 players to the flop. 7 ace jack, a couple of hearts.
Both missed the flop, but Carrie's got the best hand with queen high. She's out of position and first to act.
I can't even take it.
What's up with these two?
Carrie fires and Duhamel will let it go. So the loose cannon takes down another pot, but still a long way to go to catch up to the NAPT Passport leader.
It would be like a bad game theory play not to know how much chips you have. I mean, it was baller earlier to not know how much you have, but now it'd be probably a decent idea to know how much, roughly how much chips you have.
Carrie, like me, refuses to count chips. Graphics?
Something over 100. Just over. Yeah. Like $2 extra. Wouldn't make a $2 profit tonight.
You get yourself a twist cone at Mickey D's.
The 20K she's up should be enough for her to upgrade that car, or at least get a newer used taxi.
There's another straddle on, and Burchell will start the action.
From the looks of things, she might just blow it all on bracelets and bangles.
Ace 10 for Carrie. Raises to 3,500.
In any case, Carrie doesn't seem to be satisfied with just 20K. She's obviously still aiming higher. Risky.
Action folds around to Bob. King 9. Can't imagine he's going to play this.
Could be worth going after the cannon with, but he is out of position.
No dice. Queen 10 for Kachalov in the straddle.
Even though we know Eugene's dominated, this is pretty much a must call.
And he does call. Flop tray ace 4, couple of spades, top pair for the cannon. Kachalov checks.
Top pair and the best hand.
And Burchell bets 6,600.
Eugene really hasn't made many hands this week, this hand being no exception.
And he'll fold.
He looks like he's totally over being here.
Burchell's going to drag a pot worth 14.8, clawing back a little bit at a time.
So Carrie takes that pot, and through 142 hands, she's never slowed down. She's seen 33% of the flops dealt this week, behind only the 24-year-old phenom Mercier and the billionaire La Liberte. I say there's a fairly good chance she sees every flop from now until the end of the 150 hands. Scott, bet on it?
I don't believe in gambling. Duhamel in the straddle.
It's ironic.
Jason Mercier will start the action. Ace-5 offsuit.
Jason's under-the-gun raises have been getting less respect than Rodney Dangerfield.
He's just gonna fold.
But that means still get make the 13 though.
Jason's raised to 2,300. Action folds to Bob.
I think he's bending the cards like that just to tilt me at this point. He's not getting invited to my home game.
Action folds around to the cannon. Pocket eights.
Kerry may want to 3-bet this, but for a lot of pros, this is a slam dunk just call. Uh-oh, speaking of slam dunks, I guess I forgot to take into account the fact that Kerry is a baller.
Those look like re-raising chips. She's got a gray in there. Re-raises to 8,500. Duhamel quickly out, back on Mercier.
No respect, I tell ya. That's the kind of raise that should come with a free bowl of soup. Mercier's got a weak ace, but he is in position. Kerry would be a big favorite if he called.
Jason gives it up.
I can't believe these guys are still laying down to her.
So Kerry takes it down pre-flop. This time the pot worth almost 13K.
You know, Kerry's a college admissions officer, so maybe if poker doesn't work out for Jason, she can help him out there.
So the cannon puts together a nice little run, but still miles from where she was and where she wants to be, with no signs of slowing down. See where this cannon ends up next. Welcome back to the big game where loose cannon Kerry Burchell has just 2 hands left to add on to her profit. She's currently up about 22 grand.
Giving it her best shot to play a big pot. She's straddling.
It might be advantageous of you to see next 2 flops.
Yeah. Listen to nothing.
I'm not saying because I
Speaks
want
the
to
truth.
gamble. You know, it's for your own benefit.
The action will start on Jonathan Duhamel. The champ with Queen 8. Lets it go.
Saved 100,000.
Jason Mercier with Ace-6. And limps.
Limping with a weak ace, not always recommended, even if you're Jason Mercier.
Key out. Action on Bob with Jack-7.
Bob, seriously, you know Huff has to iron those every night, right? Wow, this would be uncharacteristically loose for Bob. He's getting better than 4-1, though.
He calls.
Wow. Took that long and you still messed it up. Actually, Eugene
I'll keep
gets
it for that.
Yeah,
Just for that, I'll keep it.
Just for that mistake.
I was gonna say pot, but I changed my mind.
Kachalov in as well. Kerry with Ace-7 of clubs in the straddle.
I think we know what Kerry's going to do.
Kerry raises to 4,600.
Attaboy. Attaboy, nothing. Way to teach her.
I mean, I just want to like.
The right thing to do would be to raise every hand. So I'm gonna limp
Great impression.
with my hand, and then she's gonna raise it. I can fold.
It's like there's 2 Jasons at the table.
This is wild. I almost want to fold just to punish. You know?
Just to punish yourself?
No, not to punish myself. To punish her.
Give her $800. That'll show her.
I guess.
Kerry raises a lot, but Ace-6 isn't really doing well against most of the hands she'd raise. Ah, Bob Vuvuzela.
Mercier makes the call.
Action's on you now, buddy.
Oh, you're calling.
Bob folds.
I would have called if you called.
Eugene's out.
This would just be like such injustice if I somehow doubled her.
Heads up to the flop.
Yeah.
7, Queen 8, rainbow. Burchell with bottom pair. Mercier misses completely.
Kerry's bottom pair is the best hand, and my guess is she's gonna bet it. Jason trying to nonchalantly sweat the fact that he knows a bet is coming.
Kerry leads at it. Jason folds.
Merry Christmas. You got the chasers out. They're just gonna double you up.
Sure, Kerry's probably not gonna walk away with the profit she once was, but can you put a price on fun? Oh, you can, and it's exactly what Kerry lost. Whoops, my bad.
I don't know what I would have done there. I flopped bottom pair.
Hey, me too.
What's that?
I said, hey, me too.
Hey, you too? Probably had the best hand then.
The better kicker.
You had a better kicker? Oh, you did? That would have been bad for me then.
Pushing us around.
I know. I feel like I don't know, I feel like I lost my manhood today. Not that I ever had it, but if I did, it's for sure gone.
Last hand, guys.
Thanks, Amanda.
Mr.
Duhamel will straddle the last hand of the night. Action will start on Mercier. Ace King.
Nothing's got something.
Raises to 2,300. Gee out. Action on Bob. Ace 7.
Oh my God, this is so gross.
Bob in position. Bob stayed away from the weak aces all week. Could be tempting on the last hand, though we know he's dominated.
I lost my gambling card with that hand.
He folds. Kachalov out. Action on Burchell. 8 deuce for the last hand of the night.
This is Carrie's last chance to try to make some money, though with that hand, she'd probably be better off saving the 1,900.
Makes the call. Duhamel, 7-6 of diamonds, calls out of the straddle.
Remember, everyone, that 1,900 bucks just came out of Carrie's profit. You gotta respect the gamble.
Flop. 5-10 for Rainbow.
Everybody missed. Jason has the best hand with ace high.
Burchell checks.
Duhamel's open-ended. I'm pretty sure his beard has gotten longer and redder throughout the course of this week.
I think that's just the set lights. Jonathan bets 4,200.
Mercier with just ace-king high.
And nothing folds.
He did have the nothing on that hand. Carrie, time to hang it up. Good game.
Yeah, I don't have any pain.
GG. Lets it go. And fittingly, the champ wins the last hand of the week.
Not going to be enough to get him out of his hole, and Carrie will, in fact, end the week with a profit.
Finally got ace king.
Well, we're all relieved. We can go home now.
You didn't flop anything?
No, I had 8 deuce.
8 deuce, yeah.
I just couldn't fold it because it was the last hand.
No, yeah, of course.
Carrie didn't win the passport, but she did win the baller award, which is worth nothing. Sorry.
Bob is our big winner, up over 131K, and Laliberte wins 35 dimes, which in no way moves him up the Forbes billionaires list.
The Cannon walks with a healthy 27 grand. Duhamel dropped 37 dimes. Mercier dropped almost 55. Kachalov got crushed, losing over $101,000.
Carrie, you're walking away a winner, but you have to be thinking about what might have been, right?
I'm not thinking about what might have been if I would have locked up earlier. I'm just thinking about what might have been if that king hadn't hit the turn.
Are you okay with your win?
I'm okay. I'm okay because I feel like I played a good game this week, so you can't be disappointed when you played well.
Gee, you're at least going to comp her some tickets to Cirque du Soleil, right?
Sure, it's funny. I was just thinking about it.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, guys, that's it for this week. I'm Amanda Leatherman saying goodbye for now. And remember, if you've got the cash and the guts, there's always a seat open at the big game. Good night, everybody.
Our Cannon Carrie Burchell leaves with some money in her pocket, her head held high, and house seats to a Cirque show. A heck of a week on the big game for Stapes. This is Huff saying so long from Vegas.
Did you bluff a lot or no?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Did you?
I knew she did.
Guys, she really played
There's
great.
so many boards where she was just like blasting. I was like, how the hell does she have it, you know?
Do you think she played great?
I really do.
Yeah, you said you were impressed a few times.
Yeah. Right. I thought you played
I would
great.
love to invite you to the show.
Thank you.
Just email me, okay?
Okay.
Sorry.
Hey, Gee, what a nice guy.
Yeah, take 80,000 from her and then give her $250 worth of tickets. what a prince you are, Gee. What a boy.
The preceding program was sponsored by PokerStars.net.